Hi guys, Rando Gamer here with the next session of Adventures of the Standing Bird. This is session 16, which picks up right after our events with Cassandra kind of like crashing out a little bit. So the party had made their way back to the airship and had made their way out of the Magi Circle. And Cassandra's feeling a little bit of the guilt associated with having bitten into Zaphreal and almost killing an innocent because of her bloodlust. So the session deals with a lot of the ramifications of that, as well as really ramping up with the whole storyline with Fia. The situation with the Phoenix and uh, that power sort of diminishing comes more or less to a head, forcing the party to kind of like take immediate action. Um, and finding out some interconnected backstories as the party progresses there. But overall, kind of getting into the back end of Adventures of the Standing Bear. Still have a decent amount of headway to go, but there's a lot of plot still to kind of finish out the Adventures of the Standing Bear, and hopefully you like this session. It's a pretty good RP session, and if you do, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to stay up to date with all my latest content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. But without further ado, here is session 16 of the Adventures of Standing Bear.
Okay, so the last time we left the Fellowship of the Standing Bear, you guys had traveled to the northernmost tip of the Empire, to the Magi Circle, to learn of information of Fia's past and how it relates to the Phoenix. And upon coming there, you kind of got into some shenanigans here and there, but mostly a lot of research was done on specifically um, Palor and Melora, and specifically the Phoenix itself. Ultimately, you guys would end up getting a lot of information about um, how Melora and Palor are inextricably sort of tied together in this sort of um, what's the word? For the lack of a better word, how they are associated. Like it's not uncommon for one person to worship both gods because of like how many different areas that they overlap with. Anyways, Cassandra also learned a number of things about vampire kind. Ended up finding a journal that was written by a long past Cursebringer. Um, that and essentially you would ultimately end up finding information about the Fangs of the Night. They are essentially the original vampires. Like they have been around for thousands of years, and like are the reason why like vampirism is such a thing that persists within the material plane. Um, let's see here, and you ended up finding what you thought to be coordinates for the lack of a better word. Except the way in which it's written, it doesn't necessarily compute with how typical teleportation or magic is considered these days. Um, you guys ended up having, and when you got to this sort of secret location behind a fireplace on the top third floor, finding about a lot more sensitive information, finding out that Radagast was, in fact, one of the people who sort of founded the school itself. Um, and not only that, but more specifically, more information. It was definitely it had a strong Urim bias to a lot of the accounts that you had all looked into, but um, because of Grog's impatience, ultimately the party was put in a situation where they needed to move because so much of the different glass containers that had held priceless artifacts and tablets of all kind had been broken and shattered onto the floor. You guys made a quick escape, upon which finding that just in this other room, somewhere else on campus, seemed to be some sort of automaton construct figure. Um, and because some in the group were too curious not to try, ultimately ended up accidentally starting this thing up. And it sort of booted up, and just now suddenly, because you guys remember, you're still sort of running away. You didn't necessarily get clear out of the scotch free. So, swiping up this automaton, you run up the stairs to find Cassandra, who had already dealt with the guards that were being held post just outside the door. And as you're about to leave, Cassandra, the two guards that you ended up like successfully luring away from the door is when you are struck with the hunger that is largely taking up most of your living life or unlife, and that is the thirst of blood. And you had just such a close call, but you were able to resist to get out in just enough time for no one to know any better. It's at this point the party splits almost immediately as you all try to get back to the ship. Unfortunately, because of how quick some people were able to travel in a second, and because of how quick others were able to sprout to action, Fia was sort of left with the automaton construct that she wasn't necessarily on board with to begin with.
She's like the dad who didn't want the cat, but then they got the cat and they're like best friends.
um, so, uh, Fia, using some of her uh, um, sorceress magic, was able to cast fly on some to get back to the ship, while Throg was able to sort of weevil his way back to the ship as well. And but it didn't necessarily stop there, because the reason why Cassandra had darted off to begin with was because she could smell the sweet suckling scent of Arthur's blood flowing through the air. As you vroom, speed up to this alleyway, you see Arthur with his bare neck, uh, offering himself to you in a very subservient sort of way. Right as you're about to prance in, Zaphreal and Engless are able to act and grab you in just the nick amount of time. However, because of your your sort of gluttonous rage, your tunnel vision that you had, in order to take control of the moment, Zaphreal had offered up his arm in replace. Cassandra, not in the moment necessarily being aware of that is what's happening. However, between Cassandra sucking out the sort of divine uh, blood of Zaphreal, you guys were able to drag and pull her all the way back to the ship, even it escalating so much so that Endless is like forced to like summon like large ass fey manifested panthers to sort of escort and help with the sort of wrestle and tussle. Eventually, getting back to the ship, Fia was essentially, standing there like an upset wife in the 50s, tapping her foot with her arms crossed, as Endless shows up with fucking Zaphriel's arm bloodied and bruised, Cassandra's arms bound behind her back, and purple bloodstains across her mouth. Realizing that something had transpired, everybody sort of disperses slowly within the deck itself. Um, let's see here. It's after which the upon leaving, Throg, Fia, and Mhox would all end up striking up conversation with this construct, and realizing that he was having like a very hard time understanding what you were saying and how to communicate. Um, he kept repeating the word home, gesturing very mildly towards the environment. Later on, you guys would learn that his name is Tesla. After he was able to sort of like recalibrate some sort of mechanical figurines inside his AI type of mind, um, and he seemed to resonate, I guess, with Thea, and whether that be because of who she is or what she's connected to. And we sort of ended off the night with Endless comforting Cassandra with this whole sort of it's you know it's kind of like Zuko mentioning his honor, Cassandra mentioning her monster complex once more. Endless was able to do everything he could to not only keep that sort of mentality at bay, but to also comfort her. At which point, they both shared a kiss as the camera sort of panned out of the the excuse me, the caravan and around the ship. So um, let's see here. We're gonna start off the next morning. You guys are your expected travel was about 4.5 days. Well, maybe closer to. Well, no, I already did this math before. Let me just look at the map one more time. Actually, no, I'm making an executive decision. It's going to take about 5 days of flight to get there. However, because of the snowstorm I mentioned at the top of the session, it's going to get closer to about 6.5 days, almost a week. Um, so, as we come into the next day, um, if you guys want to, I'm going to give the floor open for some RP. If not, I am not opposed to fast traveling, so I'm going to open the floor now to y'all. What would you guys like to do? As you all wake up, some aren't necessarily bothered by the cold anyway, but for those who mind, it is quite chilly. I would say it's approximately 28 degrees. So wearing something over your skin is probably going to be necessary if you're going to spend any time above deck. You'll also notice that on above deck on the railings around the side of the airship, there is a small level amount of ice that forms in the middle of the railing that's slowly from the center growing outwards, slowly to consume the rail itself. Um, the the amount of snow and wetness is being maintained quite well by the crew, so you don't necessarily have to worry about slipping on top. But just to give you an idea, like this is probably the first cold, snowy day of the winter season.
So I do have a question.
Yes.
Is there some place on this ship where I could expect Xehtom to go to stay warm?
She fits below.
Okay.
Because you guys are flying your small to medium-sized ship, and she fits rather comfortably down below.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. That was one of Angles's concern. At this point, like Inglis is gonna like bundle up real good. And then go out onto the deck to see if there's anybody else awake or around.
Before he leaves, Cass is gonna look at him and go, if you could just let everyone know to give me a day or two before I come out, just buy me some time. I would appreciate it. Thanks.
course. You're fine.
She kind of nods in disabled state, and she'll lock her door behind you. But you're always welcome. And she like kind of smiles slightly before locking the door behind you.
Yeah, English is got like, even though it's fucking freezing outside, he's kind of got a little bit of a strut to him.
Yeah, and I'll say that strut will compensate for the cold for about 15 minutes before you're going to have to put something on. But as you make your way up to the deck, I'll let anybody else jump in. Mox, you look like you were
Yeah,
about to.
I would say Box is up decently early, like sunrise. With he'd be up on the front with Tesla, still trying to interact with him with a cup of like Earl Grey. He wouldn't have changed anything about his attire because he grew up in the
I was
mountains.
just about to say.
So he's got the leather jacket that's got nothing underneath. So like he's basically bare chested
Right.
up there.
We're like the white people who run in the winter in shorts and a tank top.
Yeah. I did do that. It was sometimes terrible.
Okay. We'll just say for now, Tesla seems to be more cognitive. Like when you talk to him, he doesn't seem so confused, but he still is having a hard time saying anything other than home and his own name Tesla. But you see, just from the progress of sleeping last night, the amount of time that it's apparent that the more time that's given for him to fully sort of have systems come online, it will yeah, you see an end to this, but where you're not sure.
The both of you are up on deck.
Yes.
Yeah, like the prow of the ship.
Okay. Yeah, English seeing you would walk over and join you.
Oh, good morning, Endless.
You see Tesla sort of turn to you. Tesla.
English nods. Mox, any luck with him?
We've made progress. He seemed to recognize Fia's soul or spirit with a brief interaction, so it seems to be that he's familiar on some level with the Phoenix. And he keeps gesturing, indicating home, but he's picked up at least a little bit of our speech pattern, recognizing when we talk to him the general meaning of what we say, but we haven't quite got to the level where we can have a conversation. But I think as we delve deeper into things with the Phoenix, it may prove fruitful for him regaining who he is. Because if the Temple of Melora was constructed around the same time frame as the Solarian Age, and he seems to line up with the Solarian Age, I think we might have an advantage going into the temple.
Put a lot of thought into this, Mox. I agree with you.
If I've learned anything on my time alone, is as long as you can have as much information as possible, you go into the battle better off than whoever you're facing.
I like your thought and your perspective. Tesla, as English turns to Tesla.
You see a robotic, mechanical sort of eyebrow raise as he looks at you.
You want home?
You watch as his face turns slightly sour as he looks around, home, and gestures broadly around.
Where is home, Tesla?
And you just watch as he puts his hand on the railing and just kind of looks out. And you see a beam of light sort of stand into the sort of fog light cloud that you all are traveling through at this exact moment in time. And he turns around, home.
He's done that
before. I'm wondering if he's trying to align himself based off of the stars, which isn't really going to help him if thousands of years have passed.
Hmm. That is a good question.
At which point, Fia, I'm going to save you for last if you don't mind. I have something planned here. Throg, what about you?
Hmm. Throg's probably on the deck. He's just been taking in the nice first winter air. Definitely reminds him of the mountain. The mountain. He's wearing his
Sure.
classic pants, barbarian get up. So just basically bare naked, pretty
Yeah,
much.
I was going to say the same thing. Just like Mott said, you're not necessarily affected by the cold. That's because of you being a Graveborn, but even beyond that, because of your lineage.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's definitely enjoying the air. I think he is probably on one of the sides, like imagining like a pirate ship where it's got the little ladder to climb up onto the side of the ship, like if it was in the
Okay.
water, you know. He's
Okay.
like, oh, by the, the plank, basically. He's over by that area.
Okay. You watch as you put your hands on the railing and you sort of like dip your foot off the edge just to let it sort of hang freely,
Oh yeah.
and it, you get a sense of cold freedom.
Nice.
Thea, right as you wake up, I imagine. What? Wait. Oh, Zaphreal. Sorry, I totally skipped you, man. That you're my brother. I'm sorry. Please
Okay.
tell me
You're
what's
my
up.
brother, Anakin.
Oh, Zaphreal. The second you wake up, because you were drank from, and it wasn't just like a little bit of a thing. Because it was a full feast, you're just going to have disadvantage on all ability checks for maybe the next day or two. It's a good thing you're traveling, but it's something to keep in mind because you're sort of feeling drained.
Okay.
And I'll also say that though your healing factor with your like divineness is apparent, the puncture wounds have healed on your left forearm, but there is a gnarly purplish blue black bruise that is just forming, and it is quite sore and tense.
Just to be sure, I'm going to cast Lesser Restoration at will.
Yeah, and that you, it's good to do this just to be sure, but you would know, Zaphra would know this. Um, a rogue vampire bite doesn't necessarily mean vampirism itself.
Right.
I think there's more of an intention behind the turning per se. But you cast Lesser Restoration, and you definitely feel refreshed.
Okay. Zaphreal will sleep in.
Okay. Fia, did I establish if we had hammocks or bed rolls and stuff on this
Hammocks.
ship? Hammocks, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Fia, you start tossing and turning, and your stomach starts to like cramp, and it's just enough that as you wake up, you shoot your eyes open, and like near fire bolts of like lasers kind of shoots out your eyes, nearly burning some of your bags full of your junk. And as you sort of like start to sort of curl and grab your stomach, uh, it feels like something is inside of you, and it's just wanting to consume inch by inch. And like your sort of heat internal temperature starts to fluctuate. I need you to roll a con saving throw for me.
I just realized I don't have D&D Beyond pulled up, so it's gonna take just a second.
Hey,
If you want to, because I know last time it gave you trouble, you can just roll dice if you want to just pull up your character sheet. Yeah. So while you're pulling that up, I'll just add some more fluff. This is like the most intense pain you've ever felt. Like this is something deep. Something deep within you is like hurting right now. It's nothing that's tied to your physical form. The agony that you're experiencing is such that even the brief thought of jumping out of one of the airship windows right now seems better suit than to continue to deal with what you're currently experiencing.
Did you say it's a con save?
Yeah.
Ten.
As you curl, you try to roll over and you fall directly out of your hammock and slam onto the ground. You sort of like have your one hand sort of push you up and you just feel beads of sweat drip down your face, which is an ironic sensation because of now at this moment you are feeling incredibly cold. And as you close your eyes, you sort of like see within yourself this large flame that was once great has now diminished to the size of a large grapefruit, and you see it like flickering. And each time it flickers, you get another singe of pain in your gut, and what do you want to actually? What do you want to do? What do you want to do before I go on?
I guess I'm. So did you say like I can like see my internal flame like flickering,
Yes.
essentially?
Yeah.
I don't know. Something tells me that has something to do with Tesla, so I guess I'm gonna try and make my way up there. And I also feel like I probably need help, so.
You struggle. You try to stand and it's too much. So you crawl across the room to the door and you reach up and you try to support yourself on the door handle itself. And when you finally get to yourself in a standing position, you go to open the door. I need you to roll one more con save for me, as this time the flame nearly goes out.
It's a nat 1. So a total of 9.
Kia, you hear with a massive amount of reverb and echo, far off in the distance within yourself, you hear a caw. At which point the flame goes out, and the next thing you see is the floor 3 inches away from your face as you slam. The only people who would be around enough to hear this are either Cassandra or Zaphreal, and Zaphreal's not here right now. So.
I don't even know if Cassandra, because isn't her wagon on the deck?
Yeah, it's on deck. Hold on. Zaphreal, something's going on.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's just you're involved now. Zaphreal, I need you to roll a perception check for me. Actually, what's your passive?
My passive. Sorry. Oh, 14.
Right as you sort of lay back down in your hammock, after sort of casting lesser restoration on yourself, you sort of kind of get comfy and sort of rustle for just a moment when you hear a thud coming outside of your door in the hallway. Riley, I need you to roll me a death saving throw.
A death saving throw?
Yeah.
Is that just a straight roll, or do I add
Yeah,
something to it?
Yeah.
Okay, it was an 18.
Okay. Right as you are lying there, you can feel your eyes rolling back in your skull, and for just a moment, the gas is applied once more, and just for a second, you can feel the flame grow the size of a large bonfire, and your body feels heat once more before it goes back down completely diminished. Zaphreal, what would you like to do?
I immediately get up and like feel a little dizzy. But I'm going to try to run as quickly as I can to wherever that sound came from.
You burst out into the hallway, and just a couple doors down from Fia's room, you see Fia in the threshold of the hallway in her bedroom, out cold, and you can see her eyes sort of rolled back in her skull, and her skin is very pale.
I immediately go to cast Spare the Dying.
At which point, Fia, you feel the holy presence of Cord, one that you are quite familiar with, and you are stabilized. And at which point, as you lie there, we're going to say that you're not unconscious, but you are sort of groggy as you're sort of coming to. Within yourself, the flame has been reignited, but is just as small as it was initially before it had went out.
Can I roll a quick, do like a quick like medical examination?
Yeah, sure. As you sort of run up and slide down on your knees, pick up Fia, do a medicine check and check her vitals and all that stuff.
This will be a disadvantage.
Yes.
That's a 19.
19. Although you are experiencing some immense pain in your left arm, you are able to, in the next 5 minutes, go over a basic sort of medical examination. And all things considered, physically, she is just fine. There's no signs of, like, problems.
I don't know if this might be reaching too far. Could I try to like connect with her spiritually?
How do you want to do that?
I don't know whether I just like try to like have like sense anything like below the surface just with intuition based off of my religious upbringing, or if there's like any other signs of her being off. Like, I realize she's unconscious, and this may be a stretch, but
No, she's not unconscious. She's coming to. At this point, after you finish your examination, you were sort of holding her up to support her, but she's now in the point where she can kind of support herself and can stand if she so chooses. But I'll let you either decide. You can roll an insight check or a religion check. Those are the only two that make sense to me.
as I'm going for more of a spiritual angle, I'll go religion.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm pretty laggy right now. Hold up. All right, I rolled 2 15s.
As you try to connect with her spiritually, you exude Cord's influence, and you manipulate the influence as you tether yours with that of Palor. And you are able to connect just so you don't necessarily have any visual representation, but the heat that you sense through your body through this connection is very weak. It's almost like you're standing next to like a small space heater, if you will.
I'm not going to put her down. I'll just keep holding her up, and I'll take her over to her hammock. But I go to kneel down. And at this point, Fia, would you say that you're kind of like stirring awake, or like what are you doing at this moment?
Yeah, I guess like if you're walking me back to my hammock, like I'm good enough to like walk with support over there. And like I can speak and stuff and answer questions, but a part of me is confused at what's going on. And last time my flame was like this, I don't know. I almost am like embarrassed to talk about what's happening. So
Oh no.
Yeah. I don't wish to push my beliefs onto you. But I have a feeling something's wrong with something within you, beyond what I can fix. But I might be able to help if you're willing.
yeah, I'm down to try. I don't know what's going on. My flame feels weak again, and it like basically went out, and that's why I ended up on the floor, which that's never happened before. So that I don't know. Weird.
Are you strong enough to kneel on your own?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I'll help Fia kneel, and then I'll kneel just opposite to her. You see Zaphreal begin to kind of move his arms around in a very like surreptitious way. I may not be able to heal the flesh. What I ask of you now, Ford, is to help me heal one spirit. We do what we can on the entire planes of existence to help those be better than themselves. And with this fire, I hope that we can aid this individual in continuing their lifelong fire. And Zaphreal is going to cast Continual Flame and hold it in his hand. Yeah, I don't know if this will help you. But hang on to this with my blessing. This kind of orange, like, fire that kind of crackles like lightning just is given to you.
I'll hold out my hands for it and just kind of like
The
in my
flame,
hand like
sort of
that.
almost obeying your command, flies into your palms as it sort of floats. And as you sort of feel this fire is similar. I mean, all fire is similar, but this is distinct. You can sense Tord's influence, and as you sort of consume it, I suppose, you sort of like make it part of your own. We'll say, because that was really cool and creative, I'm going to say for the time being, Fia, your inner flame is now being like assisted for now, and you feel comfortable that you may not have like any sort of complications.
Thanks, Zaphreal. I don't know if it's a permanent fix, but definitely it's gonna help for now. Maybe give us enough time to figure out what's going on.
I'm not sure what it is. But you, and this entire group, are very dear to me. I'll do whatever it takes to help you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. 'cause yeah, this is pretty scary. The couple of times that my flame has been weird, it's just, I don't know, it can easily be destructive. And that time it's like, felt death on the brink. Didn't realize that if the flame went out, I guess I should have, but I didn't realize that also meant the end of my life. So,
Something to consider. And I would imagine that your inner fire works similarly to that of what appears here. Flames do not exist without a fuel source. Without the right environment, without the right fuel, a flame will die. I don't expect you to come up with an answer, but look within yourself. See if there's something in you that's missing.
And with that, the camera will sort of phase out of the ship, and as it's sort of phasing, we'll see Knowledgerin sort of fly past the camera as he swirls around the ship, guarding it through this winter storm. Over the next week of travel, do y'all want to have any specific conversation before we arrive in Windshire and more things happen in the narrative?
Yes.
Okay.
I have two types for roleplays I want to do.
Okay. Go for it. Where
I'd
in the
say-
timeline are you talking, or does it not matter?
Well, her first night, she's gonna stay cooped up in her cavern
Yeah.
for 2 nights to do some things before she kind of goes out to the group after what happened. Her first night, she spends the whole day making notes of all the research she did do for Fia, so that way it's in paper and it's in writing. And then the second night, she's gonna kind of wait until everyone's asleep, because she spent the day creating a secondary shadow weave with her artificer ability.
I don't know what that is.
It's like cloth material that can turn into an outfit of whatever you want.
Oh, cool.
But as
It's like
she's
a transmog device.
well, that's what she wears. That's why her outfits are always changing.
Right. Yeah, that's right. I forget.
As she's doing it, though, she's actually silently saying prayers to Palor while she's sewing in symbols of that religion, of Zaphreal's religion.
Well, hold on. Zaphreal's actually a Cord guy.
Oh, Cord. Sorry, Cord. I don't know why I get them mixed up.
Palor, no, it's okay. This isn't the first time, but it's not a big deal. Because Palor's more the Phoenix Fia type thing. Cord is like
War.
storms and warriors.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, so after she makes the shadow weave with symbols of Cord, she's gonna pray to Cord to seek his guidance. She's gonna try to call out to him in the same way that Zaphreal called out to the Raven Mother.
Yeah. We'll say the second night when you're doing this.
She's doing it like past midnight though, kind of time.
We'll say in that amount of time, the snow has let up, which has been a nice reprieve because for the last 48 hours, it's been a constant snow and therefore very, very cold. I will say, on this clear night, the strong, it's not quite crescent, it's a little bit bigger than a crescent-shaped moon now at this point, shines brightly in the sky, and below, I mean, on top of the deck when you are inside your caravan, you hear a streak of loud lightning ring through the sky, and it's just bright enough to light up the inside of your caravan, but as you look out the window, it is a calm night, and you get the impression that that your intentions are seen and acknowledged.
She's gonna since he's not physically there, but there, she takes a deep breath and she goes, I have passed on to one of your own. And I did something that because of him, he saved me from killing an innocent, but I took something from him. I do not know if you seek retribution against such crimes, but I ask you if you could bless this cloth for him as a part of my payment for atonement. And she just kind of gets on knees and she just kind of bows her head and lifts the shadow cloth up.
You get the sensation in your mind that slowly transposes into feeling across your skin. The honor of a warrior. And that's about it. Sometimes communicating with gods is difficult because they don't necessarily outright say things, but you get the idea that Cord is very much pleased, and though we'll say like on a meta level, this blessing may not do too much mechanically. It is blessed though by Cord.
Perfect.
We'll say because of that, in a dark environment, you can tell that the cloth itself has a very subtle divine glow to it to invoke the idea that it's blessed.
And then, does anyone else need to do any role play before I do the next one? I don't want to take up the whole state.
Well, okay, yeah, we'll go around.
Yeah.
Mhox, anything?
I guess it depends on whether or not Fia or Zaphreal would make it known what happened, since they're the only ones currently privy.
Yeah, I'll say eventually, like when I feel better, like my goal before that was gonna happen was to go hang out with Tesla a little more. And I don't know if she would do it anymore, maybe in a couple of days, but eventually she's gonna try and bring him with her coffee, she's gonna try and bring him like warm oil or something and see what he would like to have in the morning while you're drinking your tea and I'm drinking my coffee. So anyway, but I'll join you guys eventually up there on the deck.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess it's fair to say that it would have been known.
Yeah, so I would say one of the first days after that, Mox has spent some time thinking about what happens and what ideas he has to maybe help. So it'd be probably one of those mornings, sipping on his tea. Via, it's occurred to me that all of our knowledge that we've learned on the Phoenix and Paylor and Melora indicates that those two are intertwined. Like they're two different roots of life. Fire brings life, especially up here in the mountains. Without fire, you do not survive. And Melora brings life in the form of like actual forestry and that part of nature. You can't have one without the other. So, I think as we continue to proceed, despite the naivety of Quentin currently, it may be important that he is with us, or specifically with you. Otherwise, you may find the fire continuing to diminish because he is part of your spiritual connection. The other thought I have is, and I don't say this lightly because I don't consider myself a religious man. In my moment of weakness in the mountains, there were no gods that answered, so I've never really sought for their help after that. But if you are the embodiment of Paylor, it may be time to consider that you need to start reaching out to Paylor.
Yeah, when this happened, Zaphreal told me to like maybe think about you know, I might botch what he says, but essentially like my purpose in a way. And I didn't even know that this came from a god. And that was one of my first thoughts is like I need to connect more spiritually with Palor. And I also think you're onto something with Quentin because anytime my flames have struggled in the past, it's been related to, you know, unknown things and Troxy. So I could see it potentially being related to Quentin.
In either case, I think we tread carefully. We're moving into the territory of gods at this point. And there's no telling what comes of this. Between the little bit of information that Cassandra has revealed in relation to Ambrosia, we are going to be fighting uphill, I think, on all fronts moving forward.
What is Ambrosia? Is that?
That's the vampire lord that turned her.
That turned her, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which we learned is basically like a primordial, like one of the original four. So,
yeah,
Big Daddy vampire.
Yeah, Big Daddy.
Yeah, I agree. We have a lot to discover, and I feel like it's like we were heading that direction anyway, but it's coming to a head where we all need to learn more about it, because it's making it so we're kind of lost with ourselves. We don't know the full story, so yeah, I guess as soon as we're done here, we probably need to get Quentin before moving on to the next thing to see if that helps. Just make a pit stop. But yeah,
On a
maybe
lighter
we need
note,
to.
because we got very, very deep. I've been debating if I should give my top hat to this Tesla fellow here. I feel like Tesla has the type of name that he should have a top hat.
Yeah, you know, I've been trying to figure out what he would like to drink with us in the morning. So we could gift him with them at the same time.
Tesla, my good sir, are you thirsty this morning? I think Fia may have a drink for you.
He sort of turns away from. Is it not the bow? You keep calling it something else. I always thought it was called
The
bow.
prow of the ship is like the front where like it prowls through the water.
Oh, okay. So what would be the bow of the ship?
Is that the back?
I think the bow might be the front section as well, but the prow is specifically like the very
front.
very front, like what's breaking the wake.
You'll watch as you do see a little bit of snow that's slightly piled up on his shoulders from his unmoving form. He'll turn around, Tesla, and he'll sort of like produce a very mechanical, awkward smile.
I'm not sure if you'll like this, Tesla, but I wanted you to have a nice warm drink with us in the morning. So if you don't like it, it's fine. But here's this, and I'll just hand it to him. See if he likes.
You see, he doesn't necessarily understand what you're saying, but he understands that you're trying to give him something. So he grabs it, and you can see like what wasn't there before, like some olfactory units open up, and he just like sniffs the tea. Tesla, and he goes to sip, and like, you know, because he's still recalibrating, he's not on the mark, but like some of it splashes out, but he drinks it, and he just nods his head.
And maybe we can keep the top of your head a little bit clear as he like takes off his hat and puts it on Tesla after dusting off the snow.
I also didn't realize Mox had a top hat. I love this.
Yeah, it was one of the things when we were in the capital city. It was like raining, so like he went and got a nice hat to wear.
I like that.
You see him sort of readjust it just a little bit to make sure it fits. Tesla, and he does like a very dramatic like bow that's very reminiscent of like Victorian England.
Perfect.
Moving onward. Fia, I know you mentioned you would want to talk to Tesla. Outside of those conversations you already just had, anything else?
No, that was it. I would just like every morning be there with like Mox and potentially Engless if Engless is joining as well, and just try and chat with him, see if because we've all caught on that he's obviously like learning as we go. So I'll see if we can eventually get him to communicate with us by spending more time and just chatting around him. Just nothing important, just like socializing in general.
Perfect. Throg. Anything over the next week of traveling through the snowstorm?
Not really. Dog's not really got too much on the plate.
Okay, Throg. So the third day into traveling, you wake up and suddenly, your hands are the size of watermelons again.
Oh yeah. That's right. I was shrunk down.
You were officially shrunk for like 5 days.
Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah. I guess he just kind of rejoices that the that effect is finally over. And he just he just continues to enjoy the mountain weather, and he also is a follower of Cord.
Perfect.
Yeah, he didn't realize, like, to the Thunder Giant tribe, they didn't know the name was actually Cord. It was like I don't know what their name was for it, but in like giant tongue, it was not Cord.
Big thunder.
But there was this whole conversation where Zaphreal and Thrall kind of came to the realization that they worship the same god of lightning, since he's a thunder giant.
Slipped my mind, but that's cool.
Yeah, so I feel like most nights he's just kind of digging that connection to Cord, and specifically maybe hearing that thunderbolt that one night. He is just, vibing, enjoying himself.
So I'll say this, just to add to all that, I know the complete resolution between your hardships with Cassandra are not necessarily settled as of yet, but through your travel in the last 2 weeks, going up north to the Magi Circle and coming back, I feel like Throg has displayed quite a lot of levels of potential for growth and emotional insight that I'm going to reward you with a fate point.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, he definitely wants to talk to her, but he doesn't feel like it's the right time with everything. So he's just kind of just vibing and waiting.
That's totally fine. And yeah, so fate point to you.
Thank you.
Endless. Any sort of RP bits or anything you want to specifically do in the 7 days it will take to fly back to home?
There we go.
Touch the tip lightly, okay?
Yes. English does want to go have a conversation with Cassandra.
Okay.
She'll basically be staying in her caravan for like almost all 6 days. She hasn't shown her face at all.
Sure.
Yeah, English will come in. He'll first knock to let you know that it's him.
She opens it and then locks it behind you.
And he kind of stretches and he's just like, how you feeling?
Better that you're here. And like smiles kind of softly.
It's good. Because after, the other night, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. And he gives you that, like, dumb look that men give you.
She kind of chuckles a bit. Oh, yeah, thank you.
Tell your mother we say hello. Hurry before she leaves.
Everyone says hi. Got meat and crackers and cheese.
Wow. A wonderful person's
yeah.
dream come true.
What day is he coming in since she's been like not showing her face?
How long do you want to wait before you come back to talk to her about it? It's up to you, Endless.
Maybe like a day and a half.
Okay.
She kind of laughs a bit, but it's like that depressive laugh, where there's a little bit of light, but still very sad. She goes, of course, silly. I mean, unless it was a one-time thing, then I get it.
No. I that's what I wanted to be on the same page about. I wanted to know if, was this a one-time thing? Was it just emotions going crazy? Am I a future like midnight snack?
She smiles a bit, flashing her bangs. I mean, if this is gonna work out, you definitely need to be a snack.
He blushes.
Oh my gosh.
And I make healing potions, so it works out.
The healing spell. Just let me die, Brian.
But okay. I wouldn't mind it. I know I'm not the warm body in bed, but it would warm one's heart, even if it does not eat.
It's fine. I like things cold. I can't sleep unless it's not.
Perfect. I can be like a permanent ice pack.
Just one thing. You have to get used to the spiders.
I can do that, trust me. I've had worse. But it's not coming to bed. I can sleep above, I can sleep on the side, I can sleep on the back.
Another question is, would you like me to say something to the group, or would you like to say something together? And if I'm being quite honest, if I feel like I should say something to anybody, it should probably be Zaphreal.
She kind of like looks down as this has been like haunting her for a bit. All I ask,
We gotta tell
English,
Dad.
especially with you being a leader, whatever the group decides, you have to back it. If Mhox wishes to put me in court with his people, you have to back it. If Zaphreal wishes for me to pay penance in one of his temples, or the exile of me, you can't favor me because of what we're becoming. You can't favor me over the group. You have responsibilities, more than me, more than the rest of us. I attacked one of our people, and I would have killed him and you in that moment if it didn't work out the way it did.
Like, well, geez, when you put it that way, it sounds so Ruby Gloom.
Because it might be. She kind of sadly smiles. Engless, I am a monster. My path is to be an apex monster of monsters. To hunt the ones that hunt in the night. That is my future regardless. I am what I am, but I want to be the one that hunts the ones that hunts innocent people, like I almost did, if Zaph didn't stop me. You shut the fuck up with that gif. I mean, Mhox is someone who kills my kind. That is what his people do. And I proved what I am.
Cassandra, When we were kids, sometimes we'd have to give each other a little bit of tough love, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of tough love.
Oh,
So fucking what? Everybody kills something. Everybody hunts something. What you've become just puts you in a different pecking order. It puts you on a different level of the food chain. What is normal to the spider is chaos to the fly. That doesn't change between me, you, Zaphreal, a random satyr somewhere stuck in a barrel.
Satyr.
oh my god.
Sorry, continue.
It doesn't change. You're not a monster.
Guess she kind of hides the comedy. I guess you wouldn't mind if I ate you up.
He blushes again. Well, I'm gonna go have some uncomfortable conversations. I'll let you know how it goes.
Just let one know I'll be ready in a few days to come out, and I'll be ready to hear whatever they want. I have some things I need to get done before.
And with that, Endless, I'm going to give you that light for the conversation in just a moment. Because honestly, after watching the recap, I mean, the last session, that's what I've been waiting for. But I want to give Zaphreal a chance to pop into the timeline real quick, and then we can cut to your conversation. So, Tucker, I guess this will be for you, it will be necessary to provide if it's post or pre conversation about whatever that is.
I hit one fucking button.
It's okay, DJ. You're fine.
Zaphreal is usually the kind of person to, he's always first up, he's always ready for the day, and like takes every challenge head on. But even had he not been injured, that experience kind of left him at a state of conflict within himself. He spends the first 2 days of his trip seldomly leaving his room, not only thinking about what happened before we left, but also contemplating what he can do to help Via but also help the group in understanding with Proxy's past and this new, with Tesla introduced, throwing a whole wrench into the situation. He's kind of been deep in thought and has been spending a lot of time meditating. In part of that meditation, it's almost a silent prayer. Not necessarily to Cord or to his family, but more speaking to himself. Replaying that moment of, like, getting Cassandra out.
Yeah, and every time it happens, you feel the white hot pain course through your forearm all the way up to your clavicle bone.
And if this had happened months ago, Zaphreal would probably be pretty angry. But that pain reminds him that had he not done this, that someone would have died. And not relying on that rage is something that he thinks the most on. He contemplates for hours that his entire basis in fighting and in for justice has been centered around what makes him angry. that when something is not right, when something is not just, and when something throws off the balance, he will solve it with his fist and nothing else. And so he starts trying to break down that wall. Not wanting to rely on rage or anger to get through problems, and wanting more peace throughout the chaos that is life. There are a few moments where he goes out and doesn't necessarily have conversations with Tesla, but just stands around trying a couple of like short, small talk conversations in Celestial because he believes that his true language is an ancient form of Celestial. But aside from that, um, he just kind of keeps to himself, and in the nights he'll do some blind flight training with Knowledgerin.
Okay, I'll say this. One thing happens, we'll say maybe it's the first couple days, when you talk to Tesla, you say something to him in Celestial, and mechanical whirring starts to whir inside of his head. You can hear cogs turning, and he repeats back something in Celestial to you that is translated into family.
Zaphreal gives a very firm but heartfelt stare, and he repeats back in Celestial family, and it comes off almost as a melodic hymn as he says the phrase.
He just turns around, puts his hands back on the rail, and looks out to the snowy sky. Then for your training, I would just you can either make an animal handling check or a riding check, which I think we made it official, right? As a thing on the stills thing.
Writing is not a skill I have.
Okay, we'll just use animal handling for now.
Okay. To be clear, I'd like to do this when I feel competent enough to do so. Like, you said I'd only have disadvantage on the first day.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. We'll say that this is like the third night in,
Okay. All right.
and in fact, it's the night after the storm has subsided, so you have a clear sky as well.
Ooh, 23.
Yeah, if you want to be flowery and describe one maneuver that you do, we'll say that your bond was already very true with Knowledgerin, but over the last 2.5 weeks, with your vigorous training flying to and fro of the Magi Circle, it's only becoming more cemented.
Zaphreal, over these last few months of rigorous training with Knowledgerin, has learned that free fall acrobatics is different than acrobatics on ground, and has learned to manipulate his body in a way to slow or increase his falling speed. So he's just going to take a straight swan dive down as far as he can go.
Oh,
And
okay.
as soon as I get within about 1,000 feet, throw out an instant command to Knowledgerin.
Yeah, so we'll say the airship is traveling at like approximately 5,000 feet above the Earth. So yeah, you free fall for 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet, and about at 2,000 feet falling, Knowledgerin begins to spiral, and as that happens, kinetic energy begins to build up and manifest as lightning as it sparks, creating a trail like a comet through the sky as you plummet down 1,000 feet to yell out a command, which is
It's just a mental command now. And Knowledgerin will just sweep under and almost change trajectory, but before I like literally break Knowledgerin from my mass of falling from that height, as soon as we meet contact, I activate Stormbringer and we shoot up into the sky.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, that's badass. 100%. Yeah, and you vigorously train for a couple hours until the point where Nolladrin needs rest, and boy, you got some wild maneuvers underneath your belt.
I think that's about it. I don't think I want to have any particular conversations. Not necessarily that I'm avoiding anyone in particular. Like I won't turn down conversations, but Zaphreal isn't actively seeking them out.
Okay, Endless. What day in the timeline would you like to have this talk with the group?
He would go to Zaphreal first, and that would be like directly after talking to Cassandra.
Okay, so we'll say that's day 3. Or 2. Well, yeah, it's day 2-ish. Now, Zaphreal, where will you be when Endless approaches?
We'll say during day 2, Endless will catch me in my deep meditative state, just in my room.
Can I add some cool flavor?
Sure.
You're floating off the ground like 2.5 inches as you sit there, sort of meditating.
Blindfold on.
Of fucking course it is. And as Endless comes into your room, the disturbance isn't enough to break your focus. However, it does bring your meditation to an end as you slowly float back to the ground to stand back up.
Without turning my head, Endless, what can I do for you?
Without turning my head, he says.
He's still blindfolded.
Yep.
He like leans forward and like rubs his hand like this in front of your eyes and goes, "How'd you know it was me?"
You have a certain cadence about you. We've been friends for a long time, Endless.
That we have. That makes sense. Well, how are you feeling after everything?
That's a hard question to answer.
This is right before your full recovery from the bite.
I've chosen to not heal myself. I want to feel this pain for some time.
Oh. Why would that be?
Endless, I've gone my whole journey throughout my life protecting those who can't defend themselves. Whether they're evil or whether they're good, as long as it was for the right cause. I did so with anger and made decisions based off of what I thought was right. That doesn't mean it's mutually exclusive to what I believe. What I believe may not be the right thing all the time. I alter my state of mind and my judgment when it comes to any situation that has justice. And I believe that I have been following the wrong path. What I did and what we did for Cassandra, I've come to terms with what she is. Not that she is a monster, but that she's a person that feels. I know she didn't have control. And I know the limitations I had set upon her upon consuming my own flesh and blood. But in that moment, I would have risked everything to make sure she got out.
Zaphreal, it's comforting to hear you say that because she feels like a monster. In fact, she's terrified that everybody wants to cast her out.
I worried that may be the case. I just felt that approaching her with that conversation, I don't believe I would be able to have it without losing temper. I'm not angry at her, and I'm not angry with what happened. I'm trying. There is nothing to be forgiven as far as I'm considered.
It's interesting, isn't it, the things that we struggle with, both internally, mentally. I'm really kind of taken back by what you just said because Zaphreal I met when we first started adventuring together. I don't think would have been saying these words.
And this is why I must feel this pain endless. I need that reminder that my ideals are changing.
Wow. You get inspiration, dude.
I think I should tell you something.
Anything, friend.
Oh,
Wait, what did you say?
No, he just. Endless said he just had to tell him something.
The other night, Cassandra and I had an intimate moment. A very intimate moment, if you know what I mean. And he kind of waggles his eyebrows at you.
Was this the night of when everything happened?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Later.
Endless. Don't tell me you took advantage of that.
No, absolutely not.
100%.
Not saying that I think you're the type of person that would forego consent, but that's... I don't know about that.
It was just in the moment. And according to Cassandra, it had nothing to do with what was going on.
I see. I'm happy for you, and I'm happy for Cassandra. I do have one concern.
As I knew you would.
Endless. Cassandra... She has eternal life, friend. Have you considered the implications of what you have just started? What happens if you were to grow old? 80 years from now, you may die, but she will still live.
English,
Force her to go through a lifetime, one of your lifetimes of love, only to have her heart broken. So are you going to change?
English kind of like points to his ears and says, I've got a lot of mileage.
Your face says otherwise.
I know. As he kind of like touches, he's like, I've been wondering about that myself. And you see him kind of like stretch his face around a
Wait,
bit.
are you graying? How old is Endless?
Oh,
I can't
I
remember.
was referring to the amount of times Endless's face has been
Oh.
destroyed.
And the
Oh,
scar
I
on
thought you were
the jaw
referring to
right
his
there.
facial expressions, like that he doesn't fully believe what he's saying.
Yeah,
Saffron drop right here. He's
that
being a
was only a
Saffron.
half joke. That was partial serious too.
Gotcha.
All I'm
I'll be-
saying. Oh, go ahead, please.
I'll be honest, Zaphreal. The thought of eternal life has crossed my mind a few times. But I think even from children, sometimes we think about something like that. How cool would it be to live forever? But it's not a cognitive thought in any decision making that I'm having. And even if I were to stay, among the living, I think she knows that that's a price that she would have to accept.
But is it a price you are willing to accept?
Zaphreal, if there's anything that the last... How many years has it been since we started?
I would say it's been about 3.5 years. Maybe a little bit more, give or
I was
take.
about to say we've gone through like 3 winters.
Yeah, we've gone through 3 winters. Yeah, this is the third winter. So, yeah, we're probably floating on 3.5 years.
The way... what I've learned over the last, almost 4 years we've been adventuring... Nobody lives forever. Life can be cut short at any time. I've spent a lot of time just me and Jeffrey. And at least it's not Evelyn.
Oh my god, at least it's not Evelyn.
Zaphreal's
not
not
the
even
fucking
going
demon
to
spawn.
acknowledge what the implications of that were.
Set the bar real high.
But
Yeah.
instead, Endless, I don't want to push my ideals onto you. But considering the circumstances of your mortality versus her lack thereof, I feel that a commitment is necessary. And I am willing, and I am authorized to do so, to perform a ceremony if you so wish.
Ooh.
Dude, Zaphreal's black and white thinking right here. It's all or
Oh.
nothing, he says.
Mm-hmm.
Zaphreal, are you... Is this your version of a shotgun wedding?
I'm not suggesting that it happens soon. I'm just saying, if you truly feel the way that you do about Cassandra and she feels the same, it should be at least a conversation that's had in the far future. All I'm saying is I approve.
Nice.
He reaches out his arm to take your forearm in a very strong abrasive shake.
Zaphreal gives you a hug.
Oh.
Aww.
Aww.
If the camera was behind Zaphreal when you gave Anglis
Dude,
a hug,
the
you would have
cameras
seen...
were at wherever you want.
Yeah, you would see Anglis's face. It's just shock. And then he has that cartoon big puppy dog eyes. He's about to weep, but he's keeping it
Oh.
silent so Zaphreal doesn't hear it.
And Zaphreal will slowly kind of exit the embrace. I'm not sure if you came upon your own accord. I would like to personally speak with Cassandra about what I've said to you before you relay it.
Okay.
But I just need some time.
No worries. And I did come upon my own accord. You're the first person I wanted to speak to. You're always the first person I want to speak to.
I will always be here for you.
You can see how much Engless appreciates all of this, and he will smile at you and leave you to your meditation.
And with that, was there anything else to be had before I tell you what's happened? And with that, the airship will fly off south towards the location of Windshire, and you will notice about 6 days in, the snow has let up. You've traveled south far enough now where it's at least warm enough that not a lot of snow is accumulating on the ground. And we'll say you guys arrive at Windshire at about 10:30 in the morning. And you arrive. Well, actually, no. Yeah, you guys will all arrive, and there are some officiators of the what's think of them as like right-hand men for Raiden. They're not necessarily, they don't hold a lot of political power, but they get, they make sure Raiden's will is done, more or less. And as you guys sort of get up off of the ship and whatnot, they both look very concerned, and are immediately relieved to see Fia exit off of the airship. The second they lock eyes on Fia, they have an immediate sense of relief.
I have a quick question. Were we going to the Zilnex Hills? Did we decide to come here first and then go, or?
I think we were
sorry,
going to go to the
I-
meet-off peaks, but I think with the stuff with Cassandra, it made us switch gears to go straight to Windshire first.
Okay, I
well,
just wanted to make sure. I didn't know if I just wasn't paying attention at some point.
Well, we also, I mean, if you wanted to pick up Quentin, he's in Windshire. So
That's what I thought too. I didn't know if I don't think we officially decided one way or the other.
I don't
But
think you did either.
but that's fine. I think it's a good idea we're in Windshire. I just want to make sure.
Is everyone down for a quick pit stop in Windshire? Before
Yeah.
We continue the
Yeah,
adventure?
Cassandra probably thinks it's best to talk to the whole group
Sure.
at the table. She'll like the day after we arrive, she'll probably meet them in the morning.
I'll say this. How about so you guys arrive 10:30 in the morning. We'll say maybe tonight at dinner will be your opportunity for that, and the next day we'll be back on the track for whatever you guys are traveling towards. Is that okay?
She'll be the last person that shows up for dinner then.
Okay.
One little quick thing. Is Winston still around? Raiden's head butler homunculus he made?
Oh,
He was kind of like his right hand dude next to Poddington.
We'll say that he is a personal assistant to Raiden, so he's not necessarily seen amongst the mass.
That's fine. Just was wondering if he was around.
Not at this moment, no. But as everyone has accumulated off the ship, you see one of the Graveborn that is wearing druidic garb. Take off the hood. She only has a half head full of hair, and the other half is patchy. You know the Cynthia doll from Rugrats?
Yeah.
She has similar hair to that.
Oh no.
Anyways, she looks at you. Oh, I'm so glad you're okay, Fia. Quentin was rather worried, and I think at this point her associate also takes off his robe, but this seems to be a human variant of Graveborn with a completely shaved head. Yes, Quentin was worried that you had perished. It's very important that we go see him now.
Quentin had a right to be worried, I guess. But yes, go see him, see what was going on with him.
With haste, he's in the war room, and they both turn around in sync as they travel down the way, as you guys sort of lead in tow. Let's see here. Okay, so we're gonna take a quick break. We will come back to the war room meeting with Quentin and all that jazz. We'll come back. What time is it? We'll come back at 9:21. As you guys are being personally escorted by some of the Emerald Grove druids, you are taken to the war room where Quentin lies in wait and, like, doesn't look unwell, but looks harried. You see bags under his eyes, and there is, like, you see sweat stains on some of his clothing that he's wearing. And as you all enter the room and sort of take your positions among the large world map table, you kind of look over as Quentin looks to you, Fia. Oh, I'm so glad you're okay. I thought you were. And he doesn't finish the sentence as he kind of breaks eye contact.
Yeah, something happened. It's weird how you always feel it, but yeah, my flame flickered and I guess completely went out at some point. Zaphreal helped me. I forget the name of the spell, but something flame, immortal flame. Continual flame, is that what you said? Okay. And that's gotten me by for now, but it doesn't feel like a permanent solution. But both Mhox and I felt like we had to be closer to you potentially, and I also feel like we need to learn more about our spiritual background. But yeah, just
he looks at you like with like his lower jaw sort of hanging for a moment, and he, after sort of realizing that, closes his mouth, looks to the rest of the group, and for those who are proficient, can roll an insight check for me real quick.
I think Cass isn't there yet, so I'm not gonna roll.
Oh well, this is immediately getting off of the airship. I imagine everybody went. This isn't. We're still looking at like 11 o'clock in the afternoon. This isn't the dinner thing, unless if you don't want to be part of it.
At all. Yeah, she's just not there yet, which is fine. Unless you need me there, then
no.
Yeah.
It's up. It's up to you. Okay, fine.
Yeah, no, she's just not there.
So was anybody able to roll an insight check?
I'm not proficient.
I'm not proficient.
Not either.
Okay. I'll give a visual cue to Fia because of your connection to Quentin. You see Quentin's eyes dart over the group, just for a quick second. In a look of sort of distrust. He looks back at you with a very serious glare that he sort of speaks up. I mean this by no offense to the Standing Bear. I know that I have worked with you in the past and I will continue to do so, but going forward, until this problem is solved, I will be accompanying her as he sort of like gestures towards Sophia. You all get the sense that at this point, you get the sense that Quentin is like not necessarily impressed with your guys' ability to keep Fia safe.
Well, that was what we came back here for in the first place, Quentin, so you don't need to worry, because the only reason why we came here was to get you, so...
And he just looks at you.
I mean,
Anyways, we found this really cool Solarian automaton, Tesla.
He just like raises his hand up. Tesla. He like looks. Quentin looks very like didn't see this coming sort of expression as he sort of like.
He seems to know the Phoenix, so I think we've made sufficient progress. Would you agree?
He looks at you, feeling maybe a little humbled by your speech. Yes, quite adequate indeed. I need to prepare. Um, I don't know how quick you guys would like to leave, but there are some things I need to get in order.
pardon my honesty, but you sound distrustful.
He just looks at you. You just have to understand.
I don't.
I care truly. I truly care about Fia.
I truly care about everyone. I've almost died many times protecting this group. Don't doubt my trust again.
Despite this, I will go with you. And he sort of gives you a respectful nod of the head, I suppose. Anyways. Yes, Zaphreal?
I feel that the last time we saw you, you were not in fighting shape. How can we trust that you won't be a hindrance to the group? I don't want to bring on a liability.
I've lived for thousands of years, and at this point, there's like an overlaid thaumaturgy sort of effect of different voices on top of itself. I will be just fine. And you see the nubs on his forehead that were growing out sprout out about 3.5 more inches and creates a sort of Y section that starts to sprout out.
Wouldn't it only be Proxy's voice since the entire cancel was destroyed protecting her?
Okay, yes, but the effect still happens, goddammit.
Fair enough.
Does he realize we've dealt with threats that are gods, basically?
I understand. I just want to make this point clear. We are probably the most capable group of protecting one another. I will not stand by Fia's side 100% of the time. She deserves privacy as much as any other. I got to Fia within a split second of what happened. You need to understand that we are capable, and I will not have you fight by our side if you cannot trust us.
He just looks over to Fia.
They're right, Quentin. I know you're just trying to protect me, but as Mox said, as soon as something happened, we realized that like us being closer could potentially be part of the problem, so we came here. We were doing something else and we pivoted. And like Zaphreal said, he was there immediately after it happened, and if he didn't help, I wouldn't be alive right now. So like I appreciate the concern, but like you also got to respect that we've been together for a while, and there was also a different version of you before that was part of the group, and we came into the group together, and we've all like, don't be an enemy to the group, be part of it.
Yeah, I like that.
He looks almost a little betrayed for just a second before he sort of takes a breath and breathes out completely. You're right. I'm sorry, as he addresses the rest of the group.
Apology accepted.
Well, I will do the things I must. I will stay around prepared to leave in just a few hours. And he gives you a very politeful bow with his newly grown bigger antlers that are starting to come in as he exits the room with the other druids of the Emerald Grove. At which point, unless if y'all want to, do you have anything to share?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I apologize if I was too forward with what I said. I don't mind, or I guess I didn't mean that I wouldn't want Quentin coming along. I don't want to risk losing another incarnation.
Another what?
Another incarnation, like
Oh,
another
yeah, yeah.
proxy.
Oh, I agree.
Yes, the short of it is without him, no offense, Fia, but I think Fia becomes a liability if he's not with us.
I understand. I meant purely in form of battle.
But in either case, it's either we bring him or we don't bring Fia. It's a package deal, I think, for the foreseeable future. But based off of his drastic shift in personality, he may have found his core, which is more than likely a massive boon for us moving forward.
I agree. When we depart, I'll see if I can't at least mend some sort of bridge there. I realize I may have came off a bit too harsh, but
I think he, I mean, potentially could have been said in a different way, but he needed to be put in his place a little bit. I mean, I don't want to, like I said, I mean, we definitely want him to join and stuff, but we're all a team. It doesn't really work if there's like an enemy within who doesn't trust us, only trust one of us. Like it just wouldn't work long term. So he's either got to get on board or, like Mhox said, we got to figure out a different solution. So either way, yeah, maybe we can all chat a little bit more, but I think over time, as he gets to know everybody, he's going to realize that he's being defensive for no reason. He's kind of been like this from the beginning. Maybe it's age, maybe it's just because he seems to not know his past. So I don't know. He just seems to be emotional.
maybe his inner core is damaged as well, Fia.
It was an abrupt
It's very
end
possible.
to Troxy at the hands of something abhorrent.
If we can assume that you two being separated is what could be causing your ailment, the same thing could be happening to Quentin.
For sure.
Throg, are you okay? I know we've just discussed over the last few trips your feelings.
Well, I don't really know much about the Phoenix or Trenton, so I'm okay as he's petting Scruffy, the half undead cat.
We'll say that like part of its skin isn't complete, and every time you run your hand across it, your finger kind of digs into it a little bit, which pulls it. But because of its like undead elasticity, it will like sort of stretch back into place. It's pretty unsightly.
Yeah, he's definitely doing that on purpose, kind of like wrinkling it up and boink, boink, boink.
I agree with Mhox. I realize that we may have more information, but we've merely scratched the surface. That doesn't make your points to be invalid. I would like to hear your thoughts if you can think of them.
I mean, as a warrior, I feel like actions speak louder than words, and that's kind of why I was upset. I've done a lot of actions that proved my love and trust for this group. So I guess only through actions will he begin to open up and trust us more. But as for I don't know. Like the Phoenix thing, I hope we figure it out, as well as the vampire situation. But yeah, I'm not really sure.
Man, we are definitely cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, I like to think of myself more of a man of action, not more of a man of thought. So I'm kind of ready to get going.
And with that, sorry, I'm going to use that as the opportunity for this conversation to reach its end as the camera sort of pulls away, and as it sort of phases out of the dome, a time lapse of the sun careening across the sky as it starts to set. Appropriate dinners will be made. We'll say for tonight, Raiden has procured a nice, healthy steak, and for those who want the alternative, we have chicken. Um, and accompanied with that are garlic roasted potatoes with some green beans and like essentially what's a carrot, but it's purple with like yellow specks in it. Very aromatic.
Fantasy carrot.
So yeah, basically just a fantasy carrot. Um, so at which point we'll see as the standing bear sort of shows up for dinner. We'll also see that on this night there is a small table that's been uh, with not so much effort decorated with a long candle that's lit, that's currently has the wax dripping, and from that we pull out just a little bit to see a large bare lump of fur sitting next to a table that has a slightly stained white tablecloth on a circle top as Null and Saffron have a nice little dinner together as Saffron and Null both cheer drinks together and begin to see who can finish their stein first. Uh, so with that, if you guys want to have changed into something particular, you can mention that if you'd like. But you guys are all served the appetizer soup, which is essentially like a chicken and dumpling, but heavy on the dumpling. And the dumplings are very much undercooked, which is just perfect for the heavy chicken stock broth that it's served in. So y'all are at the table and ready to talk. We'll say the person serving the food is what's the butler's name again?
Oh God.
Winston.
Winston?
Yeah.
Yeah, Winston will be serving all the meals for tonight.
Is this at Raiden's place or at the tower? Just curious.
Well,
it doesn't matter to me.
Well,
they're one and the same, aren't they?
They're one and the same, basically.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it's area.
It's part of the castle build. Like this.
Oh, that's right.
So
okay.
It's part of the castle, so it's like. Anyways.
Speaking of, how finished is it?
At this point, we'll.
It was 30% in my notes. Was the last time, and that was months.
And I think, because I just rewatched that episode, and I'm pretty sure that I gave that percentage for the end of the season. So that 30% will be the case until the end of the season.
That sounds right. Yeah, I think we projected out how much we would get done by the end of the year.
Yeah. So come time spring will be the next time we make another check for how much the castle will get built in how much amount of time. You know
nice. Yeah. Nice.
Anyways, I know Cassandra had was kind of wanting to lead something here, so I'm tempted to give her the floor unless if somebody, I think Mhox, you look like you're about
The
to
only thing I wanted to say was during the time skip there between us departing with Quentin and coming back here, Mhox would have started writing, not really a memoir, but like a detailing the tales, and he would have brought Tesla as he's like talking about what's happened with the Standing Bear since he joined. So basically recapping the whole year, or at least starting to.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, cool. But Cassandra, you have the floor. You sort of you kind of give time for everybody to start putting soup in their bellies, and so as about the time the soup is taken away, a nice 3 or 4 loaves of bread are served to go alongside the main entree tonight, which is the steak and potatoes. So
Perfect.
as that's served, you may take the floor.
That's when she would actually arrive.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
You arrive just as dinner is being served.
She kind of shows up just wearing like very like almost like martial arts type pants, very black baggy pants, and a crop top tank top.
That's such a look.
She left her sword, she left her prosthetic arm, she basically left anything that could be considered threatening in her room, just being 100% vulnerable basically. As she's kind of shows up to the table with a small bag and a journal tucked underneath her armpit, as she only has like half her arm. Her hair, which is usually in a bun, is undone as it goes almost down to her butt. Her long black hair. And she, I guess for the first time, you guys have always seen her covered like fully, but this time you guys really see just the amount of damage that her body has of just multiple vampiric bites on her arms, her necks, her torso. She's just 100% like very open right now, I guess, as she kind of shows up to the table.
As the rest of the fellowship gazes upon you as you take your seat, they all have faces of anticipation.
Sorry, I'm not as together as I usually am.
You see English shoots you a smile.
She kind of smiles, like a quick smile that kind of goes back down to a frown. Her teeth kind of grind a bit as her fingers tap with anxiety on the table. She kind of looks to Mhox and she looks to Zaphreal and Throg as she goes, and Fia actually, it's 4 people. And she goes, I'm sorry. I brought harm to this group. I've been selfish. And I endangered this team. And I apologize. And I am whatever you deem necessary, I understand.
Honestly, from the history I know, it's kind of par for course. I feel like I think Raiden did something to harm the group. Fia's old pals did something to harm the group. English almost got us. We went to hell. So like, I don't really see the issue. It seems par for the course to me.
English shoots you a look that kind of says like, I
Well-
have done nothing wrong.
What? You literally like brought this Evelyn chick in here and got your face ripped off probably or something, and then Raiden like punched you. It's just like, I don't know. I'm just saying it's par for the course.
Cassandra, your feelings are valid. And if you are looking for some kind of repentance, what happened that day I don't feel was completely in your realm of control. So I don't feel that you should be punished for that action. But I would like to talk to you about it further in private.
He looks down to the bag. And she goes, I accept that, thank you. And she'll look at him. Okay.
But Throg does have a point. Our actions should not be excused when the sake of the party is put at risk. But at the same time, we are adventurers. We will all make decisions or actions that will inevitably put the group at harm. But it's what we do as a team.
You know,
We make up for each other.
I've been kind of thinking for a while. We had a little spat there, and I know this really isn't the time to talk about that, maybe, but I've just been doing a lot of self-reflection and thinking on the words you said that day and the words I said. And, you know, our group and just the Standing Bears history has done a lot of good in this world. And from what I understand, the way you look does not make you a monster. What you're born as does not define who you are. Your actions are what make you a monster. And honestly, you've done a lot of good and you didn't hurt anybody innocent. And he gives like a hearty slap on the back of Zaphreal. And I mean, look at this big bulk of muscle. He can take a little bite. I mean, come on. You didn't do much. Do what?
I said Zaphreal doesn't even move an inch from the impact.
I mean, look at him. He didn't even fucking move. The impeccable. I mean, like, and he starts to flex. I mean, we could take a little damage. We're not softies around here. So, like, don't worry about it. I'm not a monster just because I'm undead. Nobody's a monster because of what they are. They're a monster for what they do. I didn't, if a human burns down an orphanage, they're a monster. But just because I am alive and helping people doesn't make me a monster because I'm undead.
She had words
You know,
on her tongue regarding the situation Zaphreal, but she'll hold it for that private conversation. She just goes, well, I still apologize for the things I have said about you and your people. I can't eat when we're here, but it doesn't excuse the way I described you and your people, Frog. And I am sorry.
apology accepted. I'm glad we had this talk and worked things out. I feel so much better.
She looks over to Mhox.
Cassandra.
Oh, sorry. I mean, I wasn't there, but from what I understand, it seems like it was out of your control, and I feel like there were signs that your hunger was getting worse. You even kind of warned us, like, I need a more sustainable thing for food. And I think it's obviously going to take you some time, but I hope you start to realize that you're not a monster. And like Throg said, it really depends on your actions. And although you had an accident, it was just that. It wasn't you like purposely being malicious and attacking somebody. We all missed the warning signs of you being too hungry and potentially losing control. And now we all kind of know what to look out for, and we're in this together. And I think Throg had a good point that we all have like made our own mistakes. And I think anyway, all's forgiven. I think it was all an accident. And I'm just glad nobody was hurt, and we'll just take it as a learning experience.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, go ahead, and then I'll respond at the end, and Mhox.
Cassandra, I'm going to tell you some hard truths. It doesn't matter if we forgive you. The question is whether or not you feel that you want to be forgiven. You're here asking for repentance, thinking that you need to be punished because you haven't forgiven yourself. And until you start down the path of actually wanting to be redeemed and stop calling yourself a monster and lashing out like you're a monster, you're never going to heal.
Preach.
Maybe when I kind of takes a deep. You're so stupid English. I once things are settled with Ambrosia.
You're
Maybe I
focusing
could
on the wrong thing, Cassandra. Ambrosia is not what's causing you to be this. He may have started it, but your refusal to accept that you can be something other than a monster until you take out Ambrosia is what's causing you to fail. He is not here. You are. Stop living in his shadow and step into the light and move towards being something better than what you currently are. I'm not saying you're a monster, I never have. But you're starting to act like one because you think you are one.
Preach.
she
Tell her.
she like nervously taps on the table with her nail. Maybe I could use some therapy to help not be stuck in such a large chateau. Thank you. Us vampires can be quite selfish creatures. And I guess I should look to all of your words wiser. I don't know who I could look to help me counsel my problems. Maybe I'll find someone to help me get out of that shadow. Well, thank you. And she'll like with her one arm, she'll like slide a journal to Thea. Even though I was being quite selfish in my hunger, I still did the best I could. Everything I've learned about you and your history is in there.
Thank you. Mox, maybe we can study this together and see. Well, and Cass, you can join too if you want to review it again with us, and we can see how it aligns with everything we found too. We maybe should get Quentin involved as well, since to see how Melora comes into play.
Agreed. And Cassandra, despite my tone, we're all right here. This is who you should have been talking to from the start. The amount of conversations I've had with Throg at the dead of night concerning where you're headed, it should have been you talking with Throg. He's known you since childhood, and maybe that's why no one has been as blunt, is because I'm the only one that doesn't have a past history with you. Well, aside from Zaphreal, but...
She kind of adjusts herself in her seat. I guess it's just... It's hard.
I'm not saying it's easy, but it's exactly what we just... I guess you weren't there, but how we approach Quentin is until you trust us, you're never really part of the Standing Bear.
Exactly. I've known you my whole life. Pretty well, most of it. And it doesn't seem like you're very open with me. I'm a pretty honest, open book with most people. But I'm just saying, like I will always say, your actions will always speak louder than your words. But it's also your thoughts that then fuel your actions. You're not a monster. I'm not a monster. From what I understand, Null almost killed the whole party, but he was never called a monster either.
Her
Those
lip
are good
kind of,
points.
her lip kind of quivers as her tapping gets a little more quicker. I guess I just still live in those memories of being in Ambrosia's castle and the
Frog?
memories of seeing the monster that claimed my family, only to now be one of their kind. And so I struggle. I struggle every day. I struggle going to sleep. I struggle.
Frog's gonna interrupt her by just giving her the biggest damn hug that the big lug can give. It's okay. You are safe. You are enough, and you are valued. Let it out.
As she's like kind of like being suffocated. Well, she doesn't need to breathe, but the heart remains by the massive amount of muscle. Her hand kind of grabs her arm as she kind of starts to quietly sob as blood tears leave her eyes.
And with that, the camera will sort of pan around the table as Winston starts to take away the plates and the waiting staff starts to bring out a very delectable moist tiramisu for dessert.
Ooh.
As the standing bear has a very touching moment sharing the rest of the evening amongst themselves. We're going to jump to the next day. Sorry, there's things I gotta get done before we stop playing. Okay, I just have to take out my goddamn dogs real quick. I'll be right back. We're gonna, when I come back, we're starting with everybody getting on the airship to travel to who knows where.
Before we start that, can me and Zaphreal have our roleplay?
I considered that.
Can we have it now while you're gone?
Oh, I hate not being there for it. But
You pick how you wanted it to go. How about that?
We can have it on
I
the
was
airship.
gonna force you guys because of the narrative not to be able to have it immediately.
No, we
I
can
mean-
wait. We can wait. It's
I'm in no rush to go to bed, so you know.
Okay, well, just wait for me. When I come back, you guys can have your moment after dinner. And then, for real though, there's things I
Quentin's
want
gonna
to
walk
establish
in this
tonight.
fucking bitch and make us leave.
Because I wanted to get to a point where, we're gonna need 5 sessions for the story arc. That's all I gotta say. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Okay.
I'm staying up late. Just saying.
I'm staying up late too.
I'll be right back then. Anyways, so we're gonna jump in.
Yes,
right
take it away,
as-
DM.
If we could get some more nighttimey sounding music, that'd be great. And maybe with some like village sounds layered on it. After the table has been cleared, everyone goes off to their own devices for the night to anticipate travel in the morn. And we'll say as Zaphreal is about to leave, you get his attention as you guys sort of walk out aimlessly throughout Windshire.
So you wanted to, and she's still holding the bag in her one arm. Speak in private. Would you prefer just walking or somewhere else? Her voice is still a bit shaky from all the emotion.
There has been many points in time where I've had life-altering discussions, not only with Hendrickson, with Null, with Endless, and with many others. The importance of a setting, I feel, adds to the impact of a conversation. Let's go to the top of the dome.
She nods.
Yeah, I imagine you just turn into a bunch of bats and Zaphreal just use lightning powers to get up there. I guess.
I'll
And
call
top of
over
the
Null
dome.
to just casually just leap up into the sky.
Yeah, and as you do so, we'll say that you guys are able to sort of hang your legs off of the circle that's cut out in the top of the dome, and as you look up, you can tell that more cold rainy weather will be coming tomorrow because of the clouds on the horizon, but at this very moment, there's just the most luscious lump cloud that's just barely hiding the lower half of the large crescent moon that shines brightly above your heads.
Naldrin, will you join us in this conversation?
He just kind of sits down.
He's able to speak now.
I know.
I know. Oh, okay.
I think it's a respect thing.
I got you.
He's got to earn Cass's respect first.
No, that's very lion-like. Zaphreal will stay silent and just look at the sky. He'll occasionally pet Naldrin's mane as light static goes through his fingers doing so.
After a few moments, she'll slide a bag over to you. This is a thank you and an apology.
Zaphreal hesitates for a moment. There is no need for an apology. I will take this if it is what you wish.
I know you may. I appreciate it, but there is. You stopped me from killing someone, an innocent person, Zaph. That's the thank you. For what I took without permission, that is the apology. Your God gave me permission.
He looks at you with a perplexed glance.
You said I had to worship. I can't do that. But a prayer and the thought of forgiveness and appreciation is the best I could do.
He'll reach over and grab it, but won't open it yet. Cassandra, Forgiveness is not only earned through the prospects of one that you have harmed or have offended. Forgiveness is achieved once you have felt that in yourself as well. We can talk all about deities and beliefs all we want. But when push comes to shove, you must be willing to forgive yourself for your own actions before you can accept forgiveness from others.
I'm starting to.
It's not easy.
To be honest, Zaph, I know I'm quite the dramatic person and outlandish socially. I do it to hide. I mean, it is who I am. But I haven't stopped looking to kill that son of a bitch for what he did to my family and me. I guess I haven't opened, not even to my own people. I barely even talked to him after I turned him, because I struggle. Every night I can still hear those lonely nights in those dungeons. And then every day I can still see those parties where I was passed around as some type of caviar. The laughs, the mockery, the insults, the reminders, and the flashes of my parents, and the wonderful full-thrown staff that I grew up with. And I remember every day I need to eat. And the creature that stole my heart and damn near my insanity. Ambrosia casts such a big shadow. Zaphreal. It's a deep shadow.
I'm not gonna like have you roll an insight. This is something you're just gonna be able to see. You hear true pain from Zaphreal. I walked a very hard path of vengeance myself. It destroyed many things for me. It was something that I needed to do. It was for my son. It was for my wife. It wasn't until I came to this very place to fight my truest friend where I decided then and there that vengeance was no longer what I sought. I sought for the glory of mankind. You work and you live and you survive and you feed off of the shadows. And I was there. It's hard to see light. It's hard to see forgiveness. It's hard to see anything when all you do and all you're surrounded by is darkness. But that does not define who you are as a hero. I lost my family, my wife and my son, to the very people that we have developed a civilization around. When I say I forgive you, when I say I don't see you as a monster, Cassandra, I mean it. What I did for you, I would have died, not to protect the person, but to allow you the opportunity to change yourself, and to give you the opportunity to see who you truly are.
She kind of looks away as tears start to kind of run down her cheeks as she wipes the blood away and her lips are shaking. I just want to be that thing in the dark that makes the other monsters scared to go after any other little girl in her family. I want them to fear, or even daring to do it to another one. I just don't want to lose myself in doing that.
Follow that path. I don't believe is the wrong choice. In fact, I would support you along that entire journey. But I will tell you, you need to have it in a fundamental belief, more than what you support of the Raven Queen, more than what I support of Ford. One belief above all else in yourself, that what you are doing is for the greater good. It may not help you sleep at night. It may not allow you to take any further steps forward with any less difficulty. But accepting your goals and your aspirations and decisions is your path to solaceness.
You know, you do so much for the group. It's another reason why, when she looks down the bag, I made that for you. To do something for you. Maybe it's selfish to ask, but once a month maybe, Would you be willing to help me get out of his shadow?
I will always be a torch.
She smiles as she looks at the moon, as she grabs the necklace that you gave her, as she says, "May we relentlessly urge onward in the endless battle against those who oppose the pillars of justice we uphold." Right?
Zaphreal will reach in the bag and grab it out, and like before he even looks at it. I wish I could just sit here and tell you that it gets better and it gets easier. The challenges keep going. And her strength in general is not what we can do in a fight, but it's how we can keep going. My fight right now is to stop relying on anger. Which is why it took me so long to want to have this conversation with you. I was not angry at what you had done. I was angry with how I would have responded in the moment.
My, aren't you just this upstanding citizen? She kind of laughs a bit. It wouldn't surprise me, but did English tell you?
I won't lie, but I want to hear it from you.
I guess he's that light in the dark that came to me. I know. I know that I'm frozen in time. Well, he, not so much. I know he made the gesture once, but I won't turn him out of greed. I won't do that unless he truly wants it, but I won't do it until we all stand in front of Ambrosia. He needs to know what world I've lived in before he makes that decision. But I will never do that against his will, Zaf. No matter how much my heart may need it.
Cassandra, have I ever told you about Larksane?
No, I think this is the first time you've really opened up to me about it. I really never knew about your history.
Larksane was my late wife. She died shortly before I became a member of the Standing Bear. To this plague. She was my light. Though I've tackled the idea of moving on and finding someone new, it took me time to realize that that light is still in my back pocket. I talked with Endless, and though your courtship is fairly new, I'll be honest with you, one of the things I told him was that if he were to commit himself to you, I don't want to see either of you hurt when Endless perishes, because you are unable.
I guess that's what happens when you open up your heart. Non-beating or beating. You open up yourself to be wounded. I'll love him until the day he dies, if we get to that point. As heartbreaking as it could be. He chooses to stay mortal, if that discussion ever has. I'll love him with every wrinkle he gains. He might need a new face. She kind of laughs a bit, but regardless of that, those memories would be cherished.
Whether it's wanted or not, you have my blessing. And because of the dangerous work that we do, and the imminent danger that we face for the sake of neutrality within the plane. If such a commitment is to be made, I am willing to perform a ceremony to seal that in action with the blessing of the Raven Queen and of Cord.
I'm on it. That. Gee, now I feel like I should have made a better gift.
He looks at you almost as if he's going to say something else. And he goes in to give you a very warm embrace.
Her eyes widen for a minute from the unexpectedness before she hugs you back as much as she can because you're so much bigger than she is.
And as you guys start to embrace, the camera will pull out in a dramatic sense and start to go in a 360 motion pan around you two. As in this moment, it begins to rain, and you can hear thunder rolling in the hills just southeast of here. As you take that moment to embrace, maybe a few more moments to take in the scenery, the rain persuades you to find somewhere nice and dry and warm for the night. And with that, everybody will find much comfort here within Windshire as the Fellowship, one by one, goes down and though there may be some that don't need to sleep, will take the time to rest in their own ways. As we see a very happy orc and elf or human, I think human combo. We see Null and Saffron getting on what essentially looked like Mormon jammies. Like it's like the whole like one suit combo. Getting ready for bed, and you see that Siegfried is just very much like already not looking forward to giving up his spot on the bed. And the night will come to a close. Upon which we will jump cut to about 11 o'clock in the afternoon. It is assumed that if you needed to pick up any easy stuff like rations, water, whatever it may be, simple supplies, they have been procured. And we will be tapping back into the narrative right as Derek, the second-hand mate, is just giving the final orders to initiate takeoff. Any last words before we start going? So just for clarification, we have the entire Standing Bear, we also have Tesla, and we also have Quentin joining. Yeah, sorry, the name escaped me.
Okay.
All present and on board, minding their own business, if you will. But yeah, any last words from y'all before we take off?
No. Is it like sunny out or is it still like very wintry?
So, because you're further south, it's a little bit more rainy today.
Okay.
We'll say it's a wintry mix. It's a little slushy.
Cassandra will be on the front part of the ship with an umbrella, just taking in the view.
So, I know y'all have a general direction, which is kind of like the Meat Off Pete's area. You do have some potential information that could very much narrow down exactly where you need to go, but that is yet to be discovered. So, you guys are looking at a minimum of 3 days of travel just to get to the area. We're going to speed run through that, and if you guys want to have any conversations to try to figure out where it is you should actually be going as you travel in a general direction northeast of you towards the Meat Off Pete's, that will be up to you guys.
We're going
I
to my
wanted-
home.
I wanted to meet with Knox, or it's Mox, and maybe Cass if she wants to join and review the journal she put together to see if that's gives us more specific locations.
So
And
she'll join in, kind of wiping her mouth off of some type of red substance as she closes her wagon where English is, and she'll meet up with you.
DM, I would say we'd also bring in Quentin and probably have Tesla there for any of the ancient language translation as kind of a hopeful that it helps, but not necessarily guaranteed.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We'll say that Tesla will be present, and because of his ability to read body language, can ascertain that what is being talked about is pretty important, but still there's a quite large language barrier. But yeah, everyone is present. Unless, here's the chance now. Does anybody else in the party want to be present for this?
Definitely Throg.
Yeah, Throg will be like there, but on the side, kind of fucking around or something.
Yeah,
He's just
like-
kind of there.
Messing with one
Yeah.
of the ropes.
Yeah, he's just like tossing the fucking Titan ball around or something.
Fucking
Sure,
buffs.
sure.
Bunch of nerds.
On the third throw, you hear, just right at the edge of the distance you can throw it, you'll just hear a very quiet, "Oh!"
Did I hit somebody?
I mean, it sounds like maybe I hit something.
Okay,
I was
Or
just
a
trying
bird.
to entertain your shenanigans. All right.
sure.
Zaphreal and Engless, did you want to be present?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll be present.
All right. It's
That girl
basically a
looks
team
shocked
meeting.
when she
So
sees
we'll
English
say-
show up.
Yeah, as everyone starts to show for the talk, we'll say at this point the airship is now growing higher and higher in elevation as it needs to get quite high to fly over the meet-off peaks.
So, I guess I'm gonna pull out the journal and like, since Mox and I have been the ones studying for the most part, we'll hover around it, I guess, and anyone else. Well, I guess this is already Cassandra's notes, but we'll just have somebody on standby. Maybe I'll be taking notes of just the important parts of what we're looking for right now, of where exactly in the meet off peaks we're looking for. If there's anything that leads to that.
Okay, so as you all, the three of you, begin to pull out your various bits of scrawled notes or whatever have you, the first immediate green sign that you have are these ancient, alleged Solarian coordinates for what would be the location of the temple you are looking for. So that's probably your best bet going forward. Unless if you want to try a different angle.
DM, if I'm not mistaken, didn't we bring the book that gave us the
Yes.
meet off
Yes.
peaks? It was just we
Yes.
weren't able to translate all of it.
No, yeah, yep, you're right. You did bring the book. You're right.
Yeah, because I've got a note here that we had a book that would appear to be about
Yes.
4,000 years old.
Yeah, yep, yes. My bad.
I would say Mox
Nonetheless.
is leaning heavily on that one, just doing his best to translate what he can based off of the notes that were already in there.
Okay.
And showing Tesla, hoping that maybe he says something, or like his fucking scanner pops up and like points in a direction. Basically, like trying to throw a fucking Hail Mary.
Okay. So, do you want to show him specifically the page that has the coordinates and stuff on it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he like looks to you and then looks at the book, and then instantly there's like a light that turns on internally behind the eyes that illuminates from the back. It's a brief moment before it fades, and he looks at the text, and as he like sort of attempts to hold the book, he doesn't quite take it from your grasp, but just hovers it, as his eyes begin to sort of scan the text, and as you hear information and mechanical whirring sort of processing between the temples of this construct, you just hear him mutter in a very mechanical, garbled way, sort of, oh, this seems to be resonating with him. And after just a few moments, the scanning stops, and he stands back straight up and just kind of looks at you.
Can you lead us to the coordinates here?
As you sort of point down to the coordinates, his eyes, his brows, his mechanical brows sort of furrow as he like points down with his finger and looks back up to you with confirmation.
Yes.
He'll stand back up. He'll sort of walk to the front of the group, which is closer to the front of the ship, as he sort of walks past a couple members. And you see his eyes begin to sort of like stand out with that sort of blue light as he raises both arms, kind of like in a sort of compass light fashion almost. You see he seems to be trying to interact with some sort of magnetic. Anyways, let me make a roll real quick. Oof. As he begins to sort of ascertain where he's at, he comes back to you and sort of, man, how do I communicate this without? Let's see here. He looks to you. Closer.
Okay. I think that if we get Tesla closer to the meet-off peaks with the coordinate here, we might be able to narrow us down. So maybe a day's out or a few hours out will suffice. We can keep searching and see if we can find something more specific on our own, but he seems to know where to go.
I also just had another idea of ways we could potentially connect with Troxy's backstory. Or what should we even call it? Troxy Quentin? We should come up with a name for the whole thing.
The avatar
Anyway.
of Laura, maybe?
But we could put Quentin, like, it's a little meta, but in like how Korra, Legend of Korra, how she's like meditates and that how she becomes connected with the avatar again. Maybe we should have him try something like that to see if he can connect with all of the past lives.
Mox is gonna look at Zaphreal.
Yeah, only proxy though, so but that's still info.
Yeah.
There were some interactions that I shared with Troxy I may be able to help facilitate, but I don't know how much I'll be able to help.
So, with that being said, do you want to try and roll a religion check, Zaphreal, to try to assist in a sort of spiritual sense? Quentin will also make a roll, but between that and Tesla, you may have a good sense of eliminating which way to go, potentially on how well you roll.
Zaphreal will remove his blindfold and just open his eyes to just see directly into Quentin.
Can I roleplay as Troxy if she shows up?
I'm gonna spend a fate point here. Hold on. Hold on to me?
No, go for it.
And Zaphreal's vision will kind of go blank. He can see and sense the world around him. He can see the gaze upon Quentin's face, but he gives him the most deep stare, almost as if he's looking past him or through him. And in his mind, he replays back the vision he saw of the bear that had told him it's okay when he was on death's door at Radagast's hand. And he pictures that moment. I'm going to, based off of religion, not necessarily off of Cord, but off of Zaphreal's fundamental beliefs. Zaphreal is seeking the path and is trying to spiritually show Quentin the way forward. I'm
You're
going to
going-
spend a fate point.
You're going to spend a fate point for it?
Yep.
Okay. So, I'll just say this. I was just about to roll for Quentin, but instead, after you make this, like, eye contact, at first, Quentin, it's immediately obvious to the group. Quentin is definitely a little immature. He definitely has that sort of young blood energy, you know? And at first is off-put by your intense eye contact, but eventually starts to realize, like, kind of like why you're looking at him the way that you are. At which point, he sort of like takes a deep breath and sort of sits down and starts to like get into a meditative like position. At which point, Zaphreal, as you consume the fate point within yourself, you're immediately presented with the imagery of the bear, the spirit of what Troxy is, and it appears before you as it roars, stands up on its feet, and lands back down on its paws, and it bows down its head for you to touch its muzzle.
Zaphreal will shed a single tear, bow his head, and reach his hand.
And as the contact is made, you watch as you come to. Quentin's eyes are now opened and projecting a pale white-green color, and his antlers grow another 3.5 inches or so, and where it split off now comes to about what is growing to be about 3 points on his antlers. And we'll say over the next 30, a day and a half or so, you guys are able to not only narrow down the location, but the closer and closer you get, the more the coordinates start to resonate with Tesla. And with this, you end up coming to what appears to be. You can see that the. I guess you have a decision to make. There is a very old peak, and by old, I mean the reason why the Zilnet's hills are so sharp and pointy is because they're a lot newer than the Meadoff peaks. The Meadoff peaks have been around for way longer, so the peaks of these mountains are very much curved off at the top. This mountain in particular seems quite larger than the ones that surround it. However, there is not an opportune spot for a safe landing for the airship. So like you guys kind of have a choice to make. You can like have the airship drop you off and basically park at the bottom of this mountain, or you can like just fly to the top and just jump off the top of the airship and get off that way.
Cassandra,
It's up to you guys.
Cassandra kind of looks at this and goes, I actually recently have been gifted a flying mount by the Raven Queen herself. If you need a ride down, I think me and Zaphreal could help.
I think we have plenty of means. If it can save us time, I feel like we should just go to the top. If we overshoot, it's much faster to walk down than to walk up.
I agree.
Yeah, me too.
Well, then shall We call her Mount Zaphreal and leave the ship up here where it's safe.
Aldrin, come assist.
And you hear right away. And you hear a thunderous roar of a lion, a mighty lion roar that slowly transitions into a thunder as he accompanies. And what was your command again? Sorry.
Just to come assist.
Okay. Yeah.
Just so we don't have to expend spell slots to get people down.
For sure. For sure.
I haven't summoned mine before. This would be a good time now. Who would want to ride with me? And she just says,
I will.
How high up in the air are we?
Well, hold on. Well, here's the decision we have to make. Like, the airship can basically fly you to the top of the mountain where the shrine is, but there's no primo spot to land, so you'll basically just have to jump out of the airship. Or, alternatively, you hike up the mountain because the airship can park safely at the bottom.
Okay. Yeah, Throg will jump off the fucking airship.
Yeah, I figured that's what Throg would choose.
Yeah, I got the impression that this would be like hovering, almost like it's gonna land. So like it would be almost normal getting off to the airship, not necessarily jumping to your death.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay, well,
I mean, personally, for theatrics, I was imagining like a little bit of a fall, just so it looked cool.
Yeah, like an extra
Sure.
20 feet or something like that. So you still get a superhero landing, but
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We can be a few hundred feet up. Throg will still jump the fuck off the
We
thing.
don't need to do that, but all right. So it seems like the group has come to a consensus. So we'll say that Knowledgerin will come, and Cassandra, if you would like to summon your mount to be in assist if they need to be there, that's fine too, because that'd be great to get a good description of what you got.
of course. She kind of...
I just like the idea that it appears out of like it looks like shadow, but it bubbles like acid or whatever.
Yeah.
It arises from that. I don't know. That sounds
She
cool.
puts her hand out as the shadow of the ship like starts to extend. As she goes, when night's veil grows black and still, under the watch of the Raven Queen's will, I beckon you from the shadow fell. Winged harbinger, heed my spell. Come forth, O raven room, so dire, answer the call of darkest fire. As the shadows begins to bubble, and I had a description of it. Well, yeah, sorry. Me and Colt talked about this like months ago. Emerging from its shadows of the Shadowfell, the creature known as a raven worm glides with a haunting elegance. Its body meds with the sleek and powerful form of a dragon with the ominous grace of a raven. Midnight black scales shimmer with hints of violet and deep indigo, reminiscence of the evening sky just before twilight fully descends. Its feathered wings stretch wide with pinons that taper into shadowy wisps, giving it an ethereal spiritual quality as it moves through the air. The head of the raven worm resembles a dragon with a tapered beak like snout and eyes that burn with piercing, ghostly silver light, reflecting the watchful gaze of the Raven Queen herself. Instead of a traditional dragon horns, sleek crow-like feathers crown its head, adding to its otherworldly appearance. Its talons and claws are elongated, sharper than steel, with dark metallic tips glinting faintly. As it breathes, the creature exhales a misty, shadowy, laden aura that chills the air around it, laced with the faint sounds of distant caws and whispers from the Shadowfell.
Nice. Cool.
And she'll hop on it, and its wing will extend to let Fia, and then she'll the Engless. Would you like to join, or do you have your own spidery winged creature? Is English there?
My bad. Of course, Anglus will join you on that creature.
So
I died for 6 seconds. I'm here.
So as everyone one by one begins to make their way off of the airship, you can just hear Derek. All right, I guess I'll just fly in the area if there's any emergencies, or should I just go park at the bottom of the mountain? What should I do?
I think we'll be able to get to you fast enough. Just meet us at the bottom. Let's go somewhere safe.
Aye, aye! As he starts yelling off commands as the airship starts to descend down the mountain itself. Before you, you guys can see that there is a small canyon that you all have to traverse through. It looks to be about 6.5 feet wide, so just wide enough for Throg basically to walk through shoulder to shoulder. And just beyond this small canyon that goes about maybe 80 feet high in length, you can see just beyond that some sort of stone structure appearing, poking out just beyond, giving you guys the idea that you've certainly found some kind of temple.
I guess I'll lead the way, and I'll grab Quentin's hand because I feel like he'll be interested in also leading the way, and we'll just head towards the temple.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll grab your hand, but with a lot more intensity. Like, he's definitely playing up the whole, like, I'm a protector and I'm here, that's what I'm doing.
Zaphreal pulls out a Stormbringer ready for action.
And one by one, following the lead of Fia and Quentin, you go through a small snaking canyon that is maybe 80 feet in length. And as you come through the other side, there is a small valley that is, I would say, like a small bowl-shaped region that is maybe 500 feet at most long and like 100 feet wide. It's a long oval shape, and in the middle of this, you see a ancient stone building here. It's very much. I have the idea. You know, like what are those buildings called in Russia? You know how they have like the sort of like weird sort of like spinning top sort of like peaks in their structures.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm trying to think of what it's called.
Yeah, like your Siberian
Taj
sort of like,
Mahal?
yeah.
Not quite that, but similar, I suppose. A lot of the temple itself has been grown over with natural vines and shrubs that sort of grow around its walls. You also notice that just before the entrance is a large, what looks like to be some sort of winged creature, but because of all the amount of debris and erosion that some of the statue has taken on, it's hard to tell. But as you get closer, it's very, very obvious that this is supposed to represent a phoenix. And it's at this point I need everyone to either make a perception or investigation check.
Say less.
It's more or less silent here. Can we get some mountaintop sounds? Evan?
Let's see.
And then get ready for some spoopy stuff.
Yeah, net 20.
Hmm.
21 from Zaph on perception.
Okay.
23 investigation for Mox.
Okay.
Let me see.
27 in total for English, but natural 20 with it.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah. I have a 19.
And what about Throg?
Oh, let me roll.
I mean, if you don't want to, that's totally fine. It would make sense.
Why not? That's a 9. So yeah.
So, Zaphreal, you chose perception or investigation?
Perception. 21.
Endless, you chose investigation or perception?
Investigation.
Okay, and then Mox also has investigation, right?
Yeah, I'm proficient in that one.
Okay, so immediately, based off perception, Zaphreal, you notice that although this place looks very overgrown and untouched, the environment begs to differ. Uh, Without even having to get low to the ground, you can tell that some of the tall grass that has grown in this small valley has been disturbed and bent, implying a pretty marginal amount of movement through this area. Mox, you notice uh, amongst the sort of trail of bent grass, as you get closer to the entrance of the temple itself, um, the first thing that comes to your attention is there are two, like about 2.5 foot wide uh, braziers that sit on the ground in large bowls on either side of the entrance here. They're unlit, cold to the touch, but the smell that it gives off gives you the impression that it was lit recently. And you do start to see evidence of blood here and there. You first notice it in some of the tall grass, but as you get closer to the entrance of the tunnel, you notice specifically that there is a streak of blood that is not continuous, but following the same trajectory that gives you the impression that someone in the last couple of days was dragged through here.
Oh shit.
Endless. You, upon catching on, I'll say that when Mox makes this discovery, you are also making this discovery and kind of have this sort of eye contact moment. As you start to take a closer look, um, because of your background of hunting monsters of the week in your guild days, you start to get the impression that there might be some sort of undeath vibe going here, unlife sort of vibe going on.
Mm.
The immediate thing that gives you that impression when you are starting to walk, because the entrance, the door here is like a half oval shape that's about 8.5 feet tall, and the stone door itself is about 5 inches thick. It's hard to open and hard to close, and it has stayed open for who knows how long, about big enough for someone to walk through. And on the door itself, you can see a handprint of blood just on the other side. And on the back side of the door, you notice carved into the stone in a very sort of destructive way that gives you the impression that it wasn't part of the initial design, is a symbol of vampires. Like it's a common marking made by enemies, excuse me, by vampires to sort of like, you know, give other people in the area an idea of what the fuck's going on here. And we'll say, as you sort of poke your head back.
Did you say there's vampire signals?
Well, yes, that's what
Maybe.
Endless found, based off of his nat 20. So, Endless, as you poke your head back out of the entrance and look to the rest of the group, as you see Quentin and Fia sort of looking around, everyone else sort of looking around, they've sort of finished what they have would be able to find in this area as they all look to you.
Okay. And you said that, like, just to make sure what I saw was, you said like symbols of vampires, or
It essentially, like in the back of the stone door, carved
uh
crudely in the stone, is a symbol of a vampire marking its territory, give or take. It's like hard to put into a more poetic way, but
right.
yeah.
Yeah. With that new information, Angus will relay it to the group as they look to them, as he kind of like gestures where you just saw it, and look look to Mox.
Uh, Mhox, as soon as he kind of saw the blood, you would see the standing bear tattoo on his chest light up as blood comes down his arm, imbuing his trident with the Rite of the Dawn, activating its radiant damage modifier, and it
Nice.
starts shedding light off of it.
Oh. Interesting.
How would you guys like to proceed?
Cassandra's gonna tell she's gonna name her Ravenworm Craven. Craven, scout for us and let us know if you hear anything, see anything.
It just like flies up into the air and starts to take a crude path around the valley that you are.
You know, my first time meeting him, and I already like him.
The laughter, Cassandra.
She's gonna look at Mox and go, well, I guess we're up. Yes.
Aldrin, patrol around the temple. I'll call out to you if we need.
He just gives you a very stoic nod of the head as he gracefully leaps into the air. Very, very much more elegant than Craven. It's a stark comparison.
Yeah, total opposites. Cassandra's gonna use she's gonna sniff the air to smell the blood.
You smell the blood, and instinctually you go. It makes you hiss.
Why is it making hiss?
It's like when a stray cat smells other stray cat pee. Like it knows like this is like you're stepping
You're in someone
into,
else's territory.
Yeah,
Yeah,
someone else's territory.
You're smelling the pheromones from an alpha vampire.
She's gonna pull her sword out and she goes, they think it's their territory. Laughable. She hisses again before she takes a step in, before looking at Mox. Shall we lead the way?
I can. I was actually going to take the rear guard to make sure nothing came from behind after we entered, but...
Good idea. Then I'll leave.
Zaphreal will walk side by side with Cassandra.
Okay.
And with the unspoken word, he'll look over and nod and just keep walking.
English is gonna follow in suit, having the Holy Avenger at the ready.
Okay. As the marching order starts to file in, it sounds like Fia and Thrawn will be close together towards the middle of the pack.
Yep.
To allow Mox to have the rear. As you all, this is the transition to the spoopy, please.
Boopy.
As you guys enter this temple, it smells pretty dry in here. Not very very earthy for sure, but there's not a lot of moisture despite the time of year. And when you look upon the walls, there are stone carvings that like sort of depict different instances where the Phoenix has intervened through some sort of crisis and brought prosperity. And it's shown through 3 different scenes as you go through the hallway. Towards the end of the hallway, though, it comes to like a singular door that's just big enough to fit Throg's frame without having to sort of duck. And it is currently opened ajar, just enough for a person to sort of slide in, again, because these doors are incredibly heavy. It's at this point, if the blood was hard to see outside of the temple, it's no longer, unfortunately, hard to see. You can see that there are, up along the walls, towards the bottom, it only goes up about 4.5, maybe 5 inches, but you can see blood that's been spurted up. There are trails of blood that imply hands being dragged through the temple. There is a considerable amount of blood, old and new in this hallway.
Cassandra is like whispering to Zaph. She is like criticizing how they mark their territory the entire way. Like from like one alpha walking into like another alpha's domain, just saying that they're a bunch of dumb shits.
Yeah, they're just like pissing all over the walls, basically.
They could have been more organized about it, but no.
Don't underestimate. I'll whisper. I'll whisper back. Don't underestimate the enemy.
It's at this point to go any further. If you want to stealth, now is the time. I'm not saying it's necessary, but if you're going to, this is the time to do it.
She's gonna. Let me see.
Okay, say less. What's stealth?
I was gonna say Engless.
That's a 25 on stealth.
That was survival, friend.
That is a 25 on survival.
Let me see.
Cancel that.
That's a 18 on stealth for Engless.
Evan, I'll take the original roll if you want to just add your stealth modifier to it.
That is a
Good thing Mox is
20
back.
23.
I'm not great at stealth, but I got a 22.
Okay.
In this world, just quick question: can vampires like walk on walls?
No.
That's totally fine.
I mean, maybe some can, but you can't.
How dare they?
You're not
Okay,
cool.
You can
vampires are
climb on
cooler
the
when-
walls creepily.
So,
17 for
14.
stealth.
14, and then Mox.
It's a 9 for Mox. I got disadvantage due to my armor.
Fortunately, you have lighter-footed people that you travel with. One of them, ironically, being twice your size, happening to do a better job at moving more quietly than you.
Mox has also got a fucking radiant light coming off of his trident as he's walking into this dark room, so there's not a whole lot of stealth going on for
you
him.
don't need to make your case worse for me, Fred.
Hey, I'm just buck naked,
So, but because the successes outweighed the fails, you all proceed successful. So,
Hell yeah.
as you go into this room, you can see that it slowly starts to open up and becomes a large circular chamber. This is the main chamber of the temple itself. And immediately on the back of the wall, you can see that there is a imprint of the phoenix inside the wall itself. So it's like a negative statue, if you want to think about it like that. And alongside that seems to be two braziers that are currently lit. The whole impression of the phoenix is about 30 feet wide. And in the center of this room is a golden well that is probably maybe 4 feet wide at most. A circular pond that has this golden liquid that glows with a very heavy amount of like divinity. Unfortunately, right above it seems to be this malicious iron construct that looks similar to like a Celtic knot put over the pool of golden water, and it currently has sort of what can only be described as like little straws that protrude, metal sort of straws that protrude from the well, and is currently funneling it up to what seems to be this, what can only be described as, imagine like a rose, a perfect image of a rose that was formed into glass that's about the size of a basketball on top of this sort of Celtic knot iron machinery that at this point is such a dark ruby red that it, like, if you have to almost check yourself to realize that you should not touch that despite how tempting it is. As that rose like glass structure starts to glow and emanate power. You can see at this moment the water level in the pool drop about half as much as it was before, and you can only get about close enough to see that it's nearly empty.
With my dark vision and my vampiric senses, can I do a perception to see if I see anything in the shadows watching us?
Make a perception check.
Did the water lowering reveal like some sort of path across? Is that the
No.
purpose of
Yeah,
it
it's a-
lowering?
So, like, the pool itself is about 4 feet wide. So it's a small little pool. Like,
Oh, that we could like walk around anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And above it is the machinery shit.
When that water dropped, was there any effect to Fia?
Oh, good point.
Fia, your condition as far as your inner flame has persisted so far because of the help from your friends. But if you were to check in, you're starting to feel cold. Like you don't feel hot anymore. You still have the flame. You're just feeling a little cold.
So, is just for context, is this construct thing like a water pump? Like it's sucking up the water? Is that
It seems to be sucking it up and funneling it into
Siphoning it
this.
into this rose.
Yeah.
okay?
I got a 17, and I'm looking for all places that she would be stalking someone.
So, Cassandra, you with your vampiric sort of rage, you're able to sort of dash around this main room in the temple, and you don't see anything that appears to be hiding from your sight. And as you start to come back to the center of the room from taking a quick look around, Mhox, the hair on your back starts to stand. That this machinery, now that you've gotten a closer look, is to put it in the way of Zaphreal, disgusting. Like this is like the creation of the abomination that vampire kind are.
Gotcha.
And it's hard to know conclusively like what's happening, but this looks like the work of vampires.
Can I do an Arcana check on that rose?
Please, you get advantage because of your background.
Yeah, the Hunter's Bane.
I feel like Fia needs to flop around in that holy water or something.
That's a 20,
Take
26
a
for
little
Mox.
sponge bath.
Yeah.
What's that?
26.
26. As you trace your hands along the Celtic knock design of the iron cage that sits just above the pool, in the middle of that, you start to recognize the vampiric arcane runes that are commonly used with people of this kind, and it glows with a blood red, sort of faint magical light. And this very much so is like based off of your understanding, siphoning this pool into this rose to be used for reasons you're not sure of. Cassandra, now that you've had enough time to look around and you've given up on the idea of trying to find something, your mind can now focus more on the device that appears before you, and you are struck with a flash of pain of PTSD as you grab your head and look at the device. The one
What level of an episode is this?
It's just a quick, nothing in particular. What I'm saying though is what you recognize is the one thing that Ambrosia has ever been made to at least be associated with is the beautiful Rose.
She's gonna pull her sword out as she's going to let out probably the sharpest hiss that they've ever heard. As she kind of breathes in her nose, she goes, Ambrosia.
DM, before I do anything, would
Yeah.
my roll have told me if there was any negative effects if we destroy the rose?
I will say this. I will say there may not be too much of a negative consequence. The only thing is the question that you're not certain of is whether or not
The water
it's
will go back in.
transferable back. Because like you might be able to destroy it, but if it would be enough to rejuvenate the pools is not within your grasp of knowledge.
Fia, this seems to be siphoning the water, which I assume is related to Palor's power and likely your Phoenix Force. I don't know if there's any necessary negative consequences of us destroying it, but I can't guarantee that destroying it will bring it back into the pool like it's supposed to be.
Before we try that, I also had an idea. I don't know if Throg said this out loud, if he did, but I want to see if like me going in the pool helps anything. I'll just like start out by putting my hand in.
Yeah, Throg said that out loud.
Cassandra will stop you and go, wait. Let me remove the rose without destroying it. I don't know if you touching the water will drain you more into it.
Wait, the rose is over the water?
There's
So-
a knot.
There's
Okay.
a
A rose on
iron
top.
knot with a rose on
Mhm.
top of that. And
Oh, the rose. Okay, okay.
Within the center of like the knot are two sort of like proboscises or whatever the fuck they're called that bees have or whatever,
Yeah.
that are basically reaching down into the pool, which is siphoning the
Okay.
liquid.
Throg would like to grab those and just pull them out of the pool then.
Well, that's what Cassandra's saying, but as a vampire,
Oh.
I'm suggesting that she does it.
I mean, if you, Throg, if you want to assist Cassandra, you can.
Sure, yeah.
So you want to try to remove the rose?
Cassandra's gonna grab the rose.
I was just gonna get rid of the hoses.
The
The
little
proboscis
bug
things.
thingies,
They're within.
like mosquitoes.
Yes. They're
Yeah.
inside the Celtic knot. Like, they're not necessarily accessible to your grasp.
Whatever
Bend
she,
their little noses. So
Yeah,
they
whatever
can't
she-
reach the water anymore.
she's gonna grab whatever is attached to the rose. Is it the rose or the knot? Sorry.
Okay, so you can either roll a strength or athletics check at advantage.
Okay. Let me see here. I'm gonna do strength at yeah, strength. That's gonna be a 16.
So, as you begin to pull, and Throg, you start to notice that Cassandra is struggling, even as she starts to bare her fangs. As she just starts to pull, you begin to put in your huge amount of strength as you pull, and it is not becoming loose. And in fact, now that you've touched it for so long, it starts to emit a beautiful, beautiful radiant red light as it glows from within this glass rose. At which point, you start to hear the sounds of scuffling and hisses and the fluttering of wings as from above and from behind you are starting to be met with what looks to be a large crowd of vampiric kind. You see that one amongst the rest stands above them all as he looks to you. He's standing right beneath the phoenix. He raises out his cape on both sides, and you can see that inside his cape he has stitched what is supposed to evoke the phoenix wings on either side. As he calls out to you. You see he has a strong, pointed chin with a very slim mustache that is just a very slim pencil mustache with a very pointed, diamond-pointed soul patch beneath his bottom lip, with long, beautiful black hair that curls just perfectly above his eyebrow. A perfect specimen stands before you as he says, "Oh, sister, it's good to see you again." And that's where we'll leave off for tonight.
I knew that was coming.
Good
Yeah.
luck to you.